Right. Hello, everyone. How's it going? Happy Friday. Um, we started just on time, Andy. I was worried that we were going to be a little bit late. Our YouTube credentials expired right before we went live, so we were like scrambling trying to get Google text messages and stuff, but we made it on time. So,
And
how
on
you
a
doing, buddy?
positive note, we're also streaming on LinkedIn this time. We had technical issues the last time. We don't know what happened with that. So I want to welcome all of our connections and friends and followers on LinkedIn for joining us here today. Doing well, man. Hope you are. It's been a busy week. I'm tired. I hope I make it through this episode.
Yeah, it has been. It's been an action-packed week. We were talking offline. I've like kind of reworked my own like personal, task management stuff since the new year, and I've been just getting way more done than usual. So I've been very productive, but also like kind of worn out at the end of the week. And it is super nice here in Kansas City. It's like 65 degrees right now, so I'm going to enjoy the weekend. It's supposed to start snowing by Sunday, though. So,
yeah, I think you're in the false spring, and then winter is still coming. We are low 50s and overcast and raining here in the Carolinas today.
Yeah,
so I'm staying inside as much as
it's going to be wet all next week in Kansas City. So it's supposed to snow like 3 times, but yet be in the 50s and 60s at the time that it snows. So
yeah.
It's going to be weird, but we'll get through it. And so today we were going to talk about Copilot chat and the process of getting it into pages and then using Copilot pages. There's been a lot of improvements and innovations around like those workflows. And it's a bit timely because, you and I were talking on the side, like what topic do we want to cover this month about how like my Notion stuff that I use in my personal life. I use Notion a lot to kind of keep track of all the chaos going on between like, my life, my kids, my health, my wood shop that I run with my wife, all of the stuff that's flying around, trying to, make sense of all of it. And we're going to talk a little bit today about how we can use some of the Copilot features to, help a little bit with that and kind of get some clarity from the chaos, if you will.
And I think we're also talking about how to go from prompt to process, how we have these conversations, but they exist in, an endless list of like conversations. How can we start turning this into documentation? How can we start turning this into deliverables? So we really just wanted to do an exploratory exercise on prompting into processes. I'm really big on processes and automation, and I think this is going to be a really fun discussion to go through and do some of that live with all of you who happen to be joining in with us here today. As always, we are live without a safety net, so we will be flipping switches and turning knobs and pushing buttons. If you have questions along the way, please let us know in the chat, either on LinkedIn or on YouTube. Happy to explore live and in real time, even go off on some tangents. And that's always fun. It's always a great learning experience for us.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. So one thing that we wanted to do is we're going to kind of take this whole process and do it in Facilitator. Remember, we were going to, record this thing. So why don't we set up the Teams meeting so that we can, record ourselves talking to each other and demonstrate some of the Facilitator stuff and the note taking we get out of that, because we're going to like add it to a notebook and all that cool stuff. But also because we forgot to do that pre-work. So why don't we just show people how it's done? Does that sound good?
Yep.
All right, cool. I'm going to share my screen then. And I went into Microsoft Teams and have gone into the calendar. And what we're doing is I just set up a meeting, 365 deep dive. I've added you, Andy, to it. It is a Teams meeting, of course. You can now draft an agenda with Copilot, so that's pretty cool. You could have it, give it a couple of words and let it go crazy. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to go into options right here. And I just want to make sure that we don't forget to use Facilitator. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down to the bottom here in the Copilot and AI section. Copilot and other AI. It's set to during and after the meeting, which would give us the recap. But we've got this somewhat new feature called Facilitator in the options. I'm going to turn that on, and that's going to ensure that it will start using the facilitator and start taking the notes without us forgetting to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and hit apply right there. And then I'll send this off, of course, and then we can go join that meeting real quick and kind of get going. And I just realized too, I'm going to change my layout a little bit here because where's that at?
All right. I've just got the invite, and I'm going to join Meow.
Yeah. Okay. Where's the screen thing? There we go. I'm going to make it a picture in picture. There we go. That's a little bit bigger for the chat that Matt was saying. Enhance. Okay, cool. Let me join this.
He knows what it's all about, Meow.
Right. All right, cool. I got to give it all the special permissions, but you can see that without doing anything, it says the transcription has started, and Facilitator is already there taking notes. So it says that AI is in this meeting, the transcription is running. What I do need to do though is I joined with my microphone muted. So in order to give Facilitator what it needs, I need to be unmuted, and so will Andy. So I wonder though, are you hearing me double in your headphones?
I am.
Okay, so we might have to turn off our speakers. So go into like the mic settings and hit the little speaker. And then that way, when you turn your microphone on, we won't, double in each other's earbuds and drive each other crazy. But we should be good now. And you can test this out by going into the language settings, show live captions, and then I should see down here at the bottom, okay, it's hearing me, and it's seeing what I'm saying. So now that we have Facilitator running, this is one of the artifacts, right? In your chats, you're going to be doing chat, getting that into Copilot pages. Another artifact is you have meetings day in and day out. If you turn on Facilitator, then you will get those meetings as a Copilot page or a loop page technically, and you can add that to the corpus of information, corpus of knowledge into a Copilot notebook. And it's all about kind of getting everything together in one spot so that it's usable and it has the full context of everything. That's always been my kind of trouble, Andy, is whenever I go old school and I use like OneNote, or people save their notes in their own place, and if we're not putting it into like a common bucket and collaborating or working out loud, then we're kind of hampering Copilot by doing that, because we're not giving it the full story, the full context of what's going on with whatever project we're working in.
On
go
that
ahead.
topic, we were talking about this earlier in the week. I learned about something really cool, and it actually deals with OneNote of all things, but also the Teams meeting notes and even Facilitator. Mm-hmm. We've long been able to go into OneNote, and from the home tab, there's meeting options, and it brings up a list of meetings in the right-hand panel, and you can add that to a page in OneNote, and it brings the meeting details into OneNote, and you can start building notes around it. But it includes things like the date and time of the meeting, as well as the participants and the people that were invited. Microsoft updated that recently, and when you go in there now and you load that meeting in, if it has Teams meeting notes powered by Loop, those loop notes are automatically embedded into the OneNote page.
Oh, good.
But if there's a recording of the session, that's also added in, and they've added AI summary notes into the page as well. Mm-hmm. From a work perspective, I go here and there and pick a nap and work with it for a little while, and then kind of come back to it. That's got me looking at OneNote again for some workflow at work. Which is, a whole thing in and of itself. But I wanted to call that out. Maybe we'll show that, or I'll make that one of my tips of the week coming up for on my LinkedIn.
Yeah. The other quick thing that I wanted to show is just like the facilitator kind of like logistics here is one, you got the sparkle icon. So in your normal notes, I'm going to enhance for Matt here. Well, in the normal meetings, right, you've got your notes. If there are facilitator notes going on, you get the little sparkle icon. That's the universal symbol for there's AI going on. So we have like the little sparkle icon. I get a lot of questions a lot of times about what if I don't want facilitator to take notes during like this part, right? We're going to talk about some super secret thing. You can turn facilitator on and off ad hoc or on the fly. If you go to more, you can turn off facilitator. So now it is stop transcribing. We can have, our personal private conversation with everybody who's watching here, and it's not being captured by Copilot. Then whenever we're done talking about the super secret thing, we can go back in, turn on facilitator, and then it's going to start that transcription again and start the facilitation, the background notes. It updates the notes about every 4 minutes is what we've found, in our usage.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully that, makes a little bit of sense. And it's nice to be able to toggle it on and off in the heat of the meeting. One thing we couldn't show here is I was a little bit foolish. I should have added an agenda, because if you add an agenda to your meeting, you'll also get a bar across the top, which is a new feature, where it will space out what you were going to talk about, especially if you put timings next to it. Like, hey, we're going to talk for this about 5 minutes, 10 minutes on the next topic, 10 minutes on the third topic. And it will see that, and facilitator will actually put like a progress bar across the top, which is pretty awesome. So you see this like typing right here. That's not Andy typing really fast. That is facilitator doing that typing right now. Let me move my window over so you guys can see that. There we go. But yeah, you can see it typed all of that. Again, it's got the sparkle icon, so we know that came from AI, and it's editable, right? I can select it. I can make changes and fix some things, which is really helpful. Whenever this was in Frontier, Andy, I used to correct it all the time because it would spell its own name, Copilot, wrong. And I have to go through and I'd have to correct that because it would put like a dash in it. But it looks like that they tuned the model and said, your name is Copilot. Here's how you spell your name. Stops doing that nonsense. So
I have to laugh at that.
Yeah, it was like for a couple of months. I would like throw shade at Microsoft every time we'd meet with them and be like, you guys know that like your own AI doesn't spell his name correctly. So
my
fixed
favorite
that.
on that topic is the Reader app, the Readwise Reader app that we've talked about in previous episodes. Every time it reads back something that has Copilot in it, it always pronounces it Copilot.
It does for me too. Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know what they've
weird.
used to tune that on the back end, but yeah, every time I'm on one of those articles, I hear Copilot.
Yeah. All right. So we've got the framework set up. We're going to be running facilitator now in the background. And Andy, do you want to kick us off with the, kind of the first use case that we were going to talk about? Do you want to grab either researcher and using researcher into pages, or do you want to start with just a basic chat and kind of like ideating about content, doing content reuse?
Yeah, let's actually start with that. We'll go into like a basic chat and walk through like the ideation process, and then we'll go from there.
Awesome. That sounds good.
We are looking at my screen now, but full disclosure, this is a Copilot chat conversation. My recommendation for anybody who's getting started with Copilot chat is actually to go through your web browser. You're going to go to m365.cloud.microsoft/chat, and that's going to take you to Copilot chat in the web browser. And I recommend that because it gives you some extra features. It's going to bring a few features into the interface that you're not going to see in some other places as of right now. One of the features, and for some reason it's not there today, is actually the voice chat feature. The voice chat feature typically lives alongside the microphone right over here. And I noticed this earlier when I was in our tenant today getting ready, that the voice chat feature is not there for me today.
That's
been there
weird.
for months, and now it's not.
I
So I'm
see it on
curious.
mine.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it on my end. So that, I thought that was odd. That aside, from here though, I do get access to a couple of things, and if we scroll down, notebooks is going to be one of those features, and we're going to build all the way up to that a little bit later. But the notebooks is one of the things that you get that's only available here, and pages are going to have a big part of notebooks, so that's some foreshadowing for you. But this is where I prefer to go start the chat experience. Now, I've already got a chat going inside of here, so I'm going to go ahead and bring that up. And I've started a normal chat. I'm not in researcher yet. I'm not in analyst. I'm in a normal Copilot chat, work in web, and then I can add my work content, and I can ideate from there. I've already done some of this work. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up this previous conversation that I've actually had. And this conversation that you're seeing here started as a normal conversation. But I do want to point out, if you look along the top, it says researcher. You're able to bring researcher into the conversation later on. So you can start with a small ask, do some requirements gathering, and then you can bring researcher into the conversation later when you need to invoke some of that that full power. You don't have to begin with it right away. So I'm doing market research and analysis here, and I've gotten a lot of really good content out of it. But what ends up happening for a lot of organizations is that this content is short-lived. My organization, for example, we have a 30-day retention policy. So any chats that I'm having with Copilot are going to be subject to that retention policy, and I'm not going to be able to get back to them after that initial 30 days. So I have to have some kind of process where I capture the output of Copilot and start to turn that into notes or even into a deliverable. And so the tried and true way to do that, and we're going to scroll through this really simple output from Copilot.
The scroll bar is tiny.
Yes.
That's a new feature in Researcher. If we get a chance to run a Researcher now, is at the end when it asks you those follow-up questions, there's now like a little pill at the bottom, like a to switch, that you can do a short or you can do a long output. And if you like want 1 to 5 pages, click short. More than 5, click long, and you'll get like 30 pages. But that's like a step in between getting this huge researcher report.
Yeah. And extending off of that, there's also options that are showing up with researcher-based conversations where it's giving you options immediately to start converting into Word, PowerPoint, and even PDF. But before we even get into any of that, I have all of this response from Copilot that we just scrolled through. So I want to do something with this. I want to turn this into a deliverable. And the tried and true way for that's always been copy and paste. Put it on the clipboard, take it to, OneNote or Word or wherever you're going to go and work with this next. But I really feel like in that case, we're living in the early 2000s with copy paste. So with that, we got the one-click superpower now right here, which is to go ahead and start editing in pages. And there's a couple of different options that are available there. You can edit in a brand new page, or you could go and you can add this to maybe a recent page or another Copilot page that you've already stored. So these are Copilot pages, and you see I've got quite a few inside of here from a lot of work and a lot of different demos. This icon, it's a notebook, kind of loosely falling over, magenta tones, tells us that this is a Copilot page, but it's actually a Loop page. It's powered by Microsoft Loop in the background. So I can take this output and with one click, open up a brand new page with it, or I can append it and maybe add it to something that I've already done. I've already clicked on that button, so I get this big link here, open that, and that opens up Copilot pages in the sidebar. And now I'm actually ready to start working on this content. Now it's starting to get a little busy on the screen. So I'm going to go in the upper left-hand corner. I'm going to go ahead and collapse navigation. That resizes a little bit. And now Copilot's going to continue to be open on the left-hand side of the screen. I can still use it as a thought partner for research, whatever Gen AI that I want to work with. And then I've got the actual page over here as a document. But now I have the full power of Loop that I can start taking advantage of.
And you can resize that chat, right?
Yes.
Like I kind of prefer to go to like a 50-50 size. Yeah, as I got like my chat on one side, my page on the other.
Yeah, so you can drag and drop to resize. I kind of like the offset over here because I'm really concentrating on
2/3.
this. That being said, if I want to concentrate on just the page itself, then we can take advantage of the expand option in the upper left-hand corner next to the name of the actual page. So I'd be able to go ahead and expand, and then that's going to give me, it's going to make a liar out of me. It's not going to do anything for us today.
It probably doesn't want to because you moved.
Yeah, let's try that again. Live without a safety net.
Right.
We have broken Copilot.
It's all right. The button I wanted to show was the new. So across the bottom, you've got like Word, PowerPoint, PDF. I saw today, and it's supposed to start rolling out according to the roadmap in February, the new infographic button. But when I clicked on it, like earlier today, it kept saying like, sorry, something went wrong. And now I refreshed the page and the button went away. So it was like they had a false launch a little bit
it was
for the infographic.
It was cached in the web browser and then it reloaded and then it removed it.
Yeah, I guess so. So it's a
on
little bit
that
of a bummer.
note, I've noticed some quirkiness with Copilot Home in the web browser this week. And just like the Matrix, when you see a deja vu, that usually means that they're changing code on the back end. So I think that they've been rolling out some code and rolling some stuff back over the last couple of weeks. I also want to give a full disclaimer here for all of our friends at Microsoft. This is a demo tenant. We do not have any NDA features turned on. This is all public preview and what is live for GA. So I just want to make sure that we get that out there. We are not showing anything
it's in the public frontier as well. So if anybody watching wants to see the Claude options, so like we've turned on Claude in this environment. You might be in your environment not allowed to turn on Anthropic yet. We can run a Claude run there, as well as having those new Excel, PowerPoint, and Word agents as well. So hopefully we can, maybe show a run of one of those and add that to a notebook as well as a resource.
Yeah.
So
just continuing with the demo that was going so well, imagine, if you will, you press the button to expand and your canvas expands to fill in the entire space, but you still have the ability to get back to the Copilot conversation. So it can go full screen with you if you like. I use that all the time. Now, a couple other things as we're getting started. It does have a header up at the top of the page that it's actually brought over. So as you scroll back and forth, it's going to start off with a header, but even above the header, you've got the name of the document right here. And I've noticed just from experience, it doesn't always give it the best name. I had one, it named it A, lowercase a, and that was it. So you can click on that and you can rename it. You can't see the whole name though. Feedback for our friends in Redmond, please expand this. I want to be able to see the whole name. I shouldn't have to hover over to see what the name is, or have to toggle back and forth in that limited amount of space. Make the full name of the page visible, but you can rename it. You should rename it something meaningful so that you can get back to it later, because we're going to show you how to get back to Copilot pages in just a little while. There's a number of different ways to do that. Now,
something that I think would be nice would be like, I guess maybe we have a more broad view of Microsoft 365 products, and maybe the product marketing, the PMs, the product managers might be a little bit more like in their own bubble. But like, I kind of don't get why things aren't reused, like UI elements aren't reused across the stack, because like we've got a really great rename workflow in Word or PowerPoint or Excel, where like you've got the name of the file, you've got like the little cloud icon with a check mark showing that it's in sync, and it's wider there. If you click on the cloud, you can change the location of where that file lives, right? You see like the breadcrumb trail. Like, why not pick up that from the apps team and drop it into Loop? Like it just kind of doesn't make sense to me sometimes why those little UI elements aren't just consistent across the board, right? Like reuse your code.
Yeah. I agree. All right. So we've got a Copilot page, just quick scroll through. It's got everything in there, but it does do a really good job of keeping formatting in place. Some of the formatting that you see in Copilot Chat is going to translate over here. Tables are going to be tables. Charts are going to be charts. Some will be interactive, some will not. Bullet points, numbered list, all of that is supported here. Fluid framework, or whatever we're calling it today, is available. See some charts and some infographics inside of here. And then
can you scroll up to the infographic that was like up above? That was like its own little not web part, but its own little interactive graphic.
Oh, that's going to be a big scroll.
Yeah, it's a little bit further up.
When we ran this market research, we were looking for potential locations in the Charlotte area, and it went in depth for us.
Yeah,
so.
There you go, that one. So if you look over that, these kind of, how do we want to say it? These like constructed infographics, these are written in code. And it writes either Python. Sometimes I've seen it write Mermaid, but you can see here that you can actually get into the code. And so if you want to change something about it, you can do what he's doing right now, which is show the HTML. You can actually show a split panel. So you could like change a color and then watch it update live if you wanted to. So there's like your split screen. So if you wanted to tweak that infographic, that's how you would do it. You also can take this infographic out as a picture. If you scroll up a little bit to the top there and we go back to like the preview, you can, if you hit like, you can either copy it or download the PNG. And if you're not in code mode, whatever, like code mode, didn't mean to rhyme, the picture button is the first button. Yeah, so that's where you can copy that picture. So I just wanted to show that you can actually tweak those things. Now, the one that was lower down, that's like a bar graph that was shown, that I'm pretty sure that's just static.
Yes.
I don't think that was constructed with code.
This was not an interactive one. So it depends on how you prompt it as to whether you get an interactive chart or element, or whether you're going to get like a static element like this is, which is in this case just an image that's been added to it. But the output translates from Copilot Chat over into the Copilot page. And so you can get visuals, you can get interactive graphics inside of there. It's fully supported inside of your Copilot page, which is pretty powerful.
Yeah. This is interesting, Andy. I don't mean to knock us off track too much, but Carolyn has a comment that she's having trouble finding Copilot pages in chat after she creates them. I'm wondering, have you experienced that at all, or do you see like a time lag between, hey, I created this page and then I want to go like reference it in another chat, that it either doesn't show up for a while, or I haven't personally seen that, Carolyn.
Let's actually try that. So we created this. I'll go back. I'm going to do brand new chat, brand new conversation, back.
So you do like give us a pros and cons out of this page that we created.
So I am seeing it. This is the Copilot page that I was creating.
And that one above it, 365DD, that is the live facilitator notes, by the way. That's why you see the loop icon versus the Copilot page icon. It's a little bit weird because they're both powered by Loop, but it is a distinction, like that is a Loop page. It's notes from a meeting. Below, this was an object created in Copilot Chat. So you did have that, but it was 3 days ago, to be fair.
So just to expand a little bit, Copilot Chat, these are the file types that are supported in this tenant as of today. So you got Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Loop, which extends to Copilot pages. OneNote and notebooks are supported now, and then PDF and text are supported as file types whenever we're using.
If you click Loop, is it going to show both? Just a sanity check. That did not show your Copilot pages. That's weird. And
there's not a separate call out for Copilot pages in there either.
Yeah. Now, I was hoping to recommend to you, Carolyn, that you could just like filter by pages, but it looks like that's not in the filter list.
And that's also why I'm emphasizing, because I've experienced a little bit of friction in what Carolyn's talking about, being able to find a Copilot page and reference it to do some more work moving forward. I found that if I didn't go back and rename it something appropriate, it was harder for me to find it, because I can potentially search for additional Copilot pages using the quick search there, and it's going to return a mix here. But if I have an idea of what the name of that thing is, it makes it a little bit easier for me to narrow down. But you should be able to find it as part of Copilot Chat.
2 other things that you might try is, one, if you're in this view right here, click on the plus and then add work content, and then click the little cloud icon in the top right corner. That will bring you up like the cloud file browser. And you could technically go to your My Files on the side, and then it's going to be called Copilot Chat Files. Is that the right word terminology?
Probably Microsoft Copilot Chat Files.
Yeah, there it is. Microsoft Copilot Chat Files. This is where things that are created in the course of like, hey, make me a slide deck, make me this, make me that. I think they're dropped in there, aren't they? But I'm not seeing the pages.
No, pages are not living in here.
Okay, so we're not seeing them there. The second place you could look, so that was a miss. If you want to cancel out of this, don't do what I just said. Go to your library. So hit cancel.
It's not letting me.
What in the world? Can you escape?
I'm going to refresh.
Refresh your page.
Enhance.
Yeah, right.
Enhance.
We're struggling a little bit with Copilot today. It's funny because I'm also like getting into Claude over in my personal life, and Claude has been having so many incidents this week. It's crazy how many outages. So on the sidebar, left side, click library.
Oh, so you're getting ready to scroll through all the different places to find your Copilot pages.
Well, that's what, I was trying to give Carolyn an idea of like, where did my page go? The other place is the library will show everything, so your pages and your like pictures. Okay. Yeah. Yep. So I just wanted to point that out for you, hopefully to help Carolyn.
No, I was going to step through that. That was the next part. So yeah, we'll take that adventure together, and we'll go through it in real time. So we started here in Copilot Chat. Now I'm going to take the shortcut, and we're going to grab this bad boy and scroll all the way down. So we're going to get all the way down to the bottom somewhere. There. Hold on. There we go.
Oh, there you go. So yeah, you ran multiple sessions here, did you?
Yes, and that we're building up on that. So this is the first output that we have. I hit the easy button. I went ahead and send that to a Copilot page. The next place you potentially find that page is in the conversation. It's going to be at the end of the conversation before where you hit that button. And if there's other like chats down below, it's always going to be at the bottom. I hit the button and then I had other chats with it. So it kind of puts it in between previous chats. So in this case, it's halfway down the conversation, but this is one of the places I would be able to get back to that conversation, but it's going to live in pages. And that's actually a link, as you can like see right there. That opens up library, which you were getting into, John, on the left-hand side of the screen. Library actually shows your Copilot pages in chronological order. And these are not subject to a chat retention policy. These are loop pages. They're associated with your user account, and they're accessible inside of here. And you can actually drill down from the different sources. You can see the ones that were created by you and filter down. You can find some of these pages that maybe have been shared with you. Perhaps John shared one with me. I'd be able to get to it from here. I can also go into notebooks, and I can see pages from notebooks. But as I'm here, I can go in the upper right-hand corner and I can start searching. And again, this is why it's important to potentially rename your pages so that if you do need to search, it's quick and easy for you to go and find the one that you're looking for, and then you can get back to it pretty quickly.
Because by default, did I miss it? Did you mention by default it names the page the prompt that you used? So like the third one down is like, I need a plan for something, and it just like trails off forever. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's why we need to rename it. Another thing while we're here is you might notice next to search, there's the new page option. So you can actually create a brand new Copilot page right from here. Just start typing right away. Now it's basically loose leaf note, but in the upper left-hand corner, you can open up Copilot Chat. Something is wrong. Refresh, enhance. Come on, Meow.
Normally it would show a chat.
And it can open up the chat. And now I can start from a page and then go in and I can do the whole chat and conversation thing. Now there's one
I've
other
never
way.
had a use case for doing that. I'm curious if anybody has done that route. I start with a page and then go to chat. Put in the comments like why your workflow was that way. Because I'm curious. I've always done chat to page.
I typically do the same, but there is a use case for it. And as we're walking through the scenarios, we'll demo on that one in just a moment as well. All right. So we showed you where it is in the context of manually scrolling through the chat. We showed you the library option, how you can get back to it. One other way that you can get to it that you might not normally think about is if you go to your chats and you actually search your chats. So you go and you search your chats, and when you look through here, you're going to notice that they have an icon that represents if it contains pages. So you can scroll through based off of the name of the chat within your retention policy if there is a page that exists for that particular chat. And so you can use that as a way to get back to it pretty quickly. So you can see here, I've got one that contains pages, and I can go ahead back into the conversation and then pick it up from there. So that's another little nugget that I've discovered that's been helpful to get back to your pages.
Typical Microsoft fashion. There's about 8 ways to get to the thing that you want to do. There's about 8 different ways to do everything.
Well, let's continue that, because there are a couple more ways that you can get back to the pages. And the next way, I'm going to go to apps. I'm going to view all of my apps, and I'm going to head to our friend Microsoft Loop. So Loop is a modern note-taking app in the web browser. Here I am in Loop, and before I even go anywhere, just hit recent on the left-hand side, and you're going to see a mixture of all kinds of different things in here. You're going to see Copilot pages. You're going to see pages from Teams meetings, pages powered by Facilitator. You're going to find pages in your workspaces, but you're going to have in really, really, really tiny icon that indicates that notebook folding open or shut with the magenta themes, and then you would be able to open up that page even here inside of OneNote. As I'm doing this, though, let's see if we can zoom in a little bit and make this a little bit bigger for
those icons are tiny.
They really are. As I'm looking at this, though, I see the name, and I see that this is in my workspace. It's in my default workspace here inside of Loop. In fact, it shows me it's in my workspace right over here as well. So they are storing your Copilot pages now in your workspace. And that's just going to be a default workspace that you have as part of your Loop account. So you're going to be able to get to it there as well. So there's like 5 different ways we can get back to a Copilot page after the fact. They're not lost. It's just pick your path and what works best for your workflow to be able to get back to it.
Nice. Okay, so what do you want to do next? Do you want to take this page and share it so we can collaborate on it? Or do we want to start looking at how we can use that page in different endpoint applications to like create a slide deck, create a talk track for a video, something like that?
Well, I do want to share it with you.
If you want to share it with me, then we can both get in and collaborate on it.
I'm going to do that in just one second, but there's one more piece of this puzzle that I want to bring into this part of the demo as we build up into the sharing. So I am going to edit this page. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to collapse the sidebar. So I've got it open, but when I did this output here and got to the point where it was like ready to share and send it to you, man, this is such a long conversation. I should have picked a shorter document for the demo, folks. My bad. But notice, like, as I'm scrolling through here, there's no charts. There's no, like, graphics that were associated with that. It's just the page. When I showed you the page and we scrolled all the way down, there were charts and there were graphics at the bottom of it that were, man, it's like really laggy. There we go. So there were charts and there were graphics that were added as like part of it. What you can do is you're having conversations. You can continue with Copilot chat, have those conversations. And then when you're ready, you can take that next part, and the pad and the pen now turns into a plus sign. So now you can add to the page, and it's going to actually add this to the very bottom of the existing page that you have open. So it allows you to take that net new that you've gotten out of Copilot, add it into the page and continue your collaboration. But they changed the icon to the plus sign, and that's a little confusing for some of the end users. You're not locked into that. However, you can edit, and that means put or create a brand new Copilot page with this, as well as add this to an existing page, maybe another Copilot page that I've worked on like previously. So you have some options as to how you want to be able to reuse this content and to reuse this stuff. So I wanted to make sure we demoed that, but now we need to work on this. I've done a lot of research for our next coffee shop, but you're my business partner, so I need to bring you into the fold. So I'm going to go into the Copilot page, and I'll get the share option in the upper right-hand corner. I'm going to do this as a link, and I'm going to get ready to share this with John. Don't just copy the link that's there and then share that. You want control over how you share this with your colleagues. So we're going to go into settings first.
It'll be set to your tenant's default, right?
Yes.
Like our tenant is set to everybody in 365 Deep Dive. My work tenant, it would show specific people, or it would say people with existing access, because we don't default to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one other thing on that, and the big reason for me to do this is a transferable link. Essentially, you can pass it forward to someone else, and that potentially leads to oversharing. So I'm going to drop this down to people you choose, and that's when I'm going to make it available to John, and now he's going to have access to it. But the second reason that I'm coming here is the default here for us is set to view. It's view only. I need John to be able to edit this, and I don't want to have to go back and forth a whole bunch. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of it now. Now John can edit. I'm only going to be sharing it with John. I can go ahead and apply that. I can now, the link's copied to my clipboard. Where'd my mouse go? There it is. And so I can take that, and maybe I head into Microsoft Teams, go and find John from the conversation, send that over. We're good to go over there. And then I'm back into the document, and I can continue my process. And then he'll get that link. He'll be able to open it up on his end. And then we are going to be able to collaborate.
There we go. Yep. So we're in here together. Now you can see both of our pictures across the top there.
So I want to see it from your side, because I've shared it with you. I have Copilot chat open up over here. I have the document up over here. So let's take it to your point of view and what you see.
Yeah. So what I had gotten, I didn't get an email for it because Andy did a page link. If you do like a traditional sharing method, then it sends an email from OneDrive. Instead, what he chose to do was he dropped it into a chat. So I got a new chat from Andy right here with, here's the page. What's interesting is a loop component that you share, it will like render inside of Microsoft Teams or inside the, the email or whatever surface that you put it into. With this, I see that it's just a page link. So I can click on it, and then it will open up in the page. And now I'm in it's more of like the full screen experience that Andy was showing earlier. I can go through, I can still edit all this stuff like we showed before. I could change the background color of this or something. I do have the chat experience. So it did not open the loop interface. It opened the Copilot page interface, which means that it is chat aware. If I click that open, now I have a chat conversation that I can bring up. If I expand it out, it goes away. If I open up the very, very left side, click on that, then I should, there we go, get my full navigation in here. And there, now you've got the 3 panel, just like what Andy was showing. I can collapse this. I can add, to the bottom right here, I'm kind of a couple lines in. I could say, do a pro cons table of the locations in the page. And then it's going to go through, it's going to build all of that. And I get that plus sign at the bottom, hopefully, to where I can send it over. Well, it did it just directly over. So underneath this, that was kind of unexpected, is it just inserted it directly over. Maybe that's because I referenced the page or something. but there's that pro and con list, and it is currently writing it out still. There we go. So now I get the response at the bottom says, hey, I added it directly to the page position just before the conclusion. So it found the best spot for it, which it did add it to the very bottom, but it was like, hey, that's not the conclusion. So what it did is it intelligently said, well, this isn't the end of it. I want to put it into a spot. So it told me where it put it, which was in between the conclusion and the last working section. It added this little like horizontal line for me right there.
So do you remember just a couple of minutes ago when we were talking about workflow a little bit, and I showed that from the library, you can create a new blank page and then you can open up Copilot chat in the sidebar? You've accidentally discovered one of the reasons why you might want to do that. You've got some ideas and you need to get them out of your head. And so you go and create a blank page and you're working away on that page. And then all of a sudden you think to yourself, man, it'd be really cool if I had this. And you ask Copilot for it. And that's a new feature that you now have, is that Copilot chat can now interact with the Copilot page in front of you. Just like you just demoed, it can bring in and add elements to the page that you're actually working on. So you start with that blank page and you're just ideating and you say to Copilot, hey, it'd be really cool if I had a pros and cons chart around this, and it will go and do it. So the chat is now interactive with the Copilot page. That was one of my tips from this past week.
That's a good idea. So I guess you could do, let me get into my library and click new page here. There we go. So yeah, I guess I could do, like ideas for videos, and be like, top 10 Copilot tips or best Reddit Teams tips or something like that. Then I could have this kind of brain dump session, right? Without going back and forth and reading a Copilot's response and all of that. But I could kind of have like, hey, here's my top 5 video ideas. Then I can go in, share it with you, and then you can get in and we could start saying, hey, Copilot, give me 10 tips. Hey, Copilot, you write a script for, this Reddit Teams tips thing. I guess that kind of makes sense whenever like I'm in the flow of brainstorming and I don't want to be like paused to wait for Copilot to respond and see if I like it or not and then add it to the list. Maybe I just want to like get things out of my brain and brain dump onto a page, and then I want to go back with Copilot. I guess that could, that's a valid thing, because then I could open this up and say, write a script for a video on best Reddit Teams tips. And then it will go do that stuff. I've got the page open, then I can push it over to the page. See, now it's writing all of that on the page for me because I currently have it open.
And just to state the obvious,
I see that use case now.
This feels like Canvas in Claude and Canvas in ChatGPT. It's the ability to have the chat conversation interact with the page that you're actually working on. There's a lot of use cases for it. I was really happy when I discovered this tip, and I've been trying to work it into my workflow more, but I'm glad that you were able to discover it in real time. Kind
of came around it a roundabout way, right? So that makes sense. I think that's a pretty cool idea. And yeah, it is curious because it's like the Canvas and those other tools, but those other tools don't have a loop, equivalent, right? Because traditionally what I would do, it's weird to call something in loop traditional at this point because it still feels so new. But traditionally I would go make a page in my workspace in loop, right? And I kind of work there because I'm a Notion guy, right? So
love the comment, Carolyn.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so what should we do next with this? You want to take this and start generating content? I think that's probably the next step because it's the big blue button rather than adding it to a notebook.
we got a couple more buttons to push.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a couple more buttons to push, and unfortunately, I think we might be blocking those buttons in the user interface with where we are currently pictured in side of Restream.
Yeah.
So we need to move.
Talking like
buttons.
slide that over like this.
There we go.
There we go.
So we've got this page and we're working hard. John and I are collaborating on it, and we're going back and forth through our process. And so we need to make some edits to it. Now, if John just hits / on the keyboard right now, it's going to bring up the loop command panel. And we know text is supported. We know graphics, images are supported. We know interactive elements are supported. But you can also do things like tables, checklists, bulleted lists, numbered lists. I love the date one. I love the look and feel of the date one. I use it for notes. It's great. Daily notes especially. It does do friendly formatting, but I like that. I usually throw that at the top.
I like call outs a lot because I what I'll do is I'll put like if I'm going to put like this is my prompt, I'll kind of do that. And the call out button, you can change that emoji. So I can do like a chat emoji like that. And I can kind of say, hey, this was the prompt I used. I like to format things a little bit. Yeah, you didn't know you could change that?
I'm going pirate flags from now on.
Yeah, dude, that was actually in my recents. That was a pirate flag.
Or maybe I'm going to do a nimbly bimbly cat jumping from tree to tree.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can add that in.
But yeah, I like the call out the best. That's like one of my favorite loop blocks. I think that's what they're called, right? Blocks.
Yes.
So those are pretty good. Another one I've seen is like, you can add like a comment to these blocks if you wanted to. But one thing I've also done is I've done like reminder, do the thing. And then like I can make that bold for this word right here. And I could do like an exclamation point, like a double. And that's another thing. You can be like, hey, dummy, look here. Another thing I've done is like if I have an idea, rather than leaving a comment, I'll put a call out there and I'll use the little light bulb emoji as like, hey, here's an idea that I don't want to lose. So I like to see everything. So I don't really use comments all that often, to be honest.
Right. So I want to show like one of my favorite loop features that I think is like really powerful. Can we switch back over to my screen since we're showing the command palette? The one that I want to show, and I'm going to try and prompt this in real time. So I'm going to tell it to create a flow diagram with mermaid and I'm going to put this in here and add to the page. So we're going to see if this does this live in real time. But I wanted to create a flow chart for me. And the favorite feature that I'm hoping that it's going to do that I really like is mermaid. Mermaid.js specifically is a great tool for things like visualizations. And so it said it added.
I wonder if this was the long-term plan. I remember whenever Loop added mermaid as a block part, and some people were like, what the heck is that? Why would they add that? I wonder if it was like a long-term, they knew they were going to like be integrating it with Copilot, and that Copilot would write the mermaid code for you.
Right.
Because it was a little bit like, okay, for like the 3 people who know mermaid, but now that Copilot can write it, you can get some pretty awesome diagrams.
All right.
So it wrote it in line, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like it's trying to. Do you want me to add this directly to the page now? So I'm going to, it's thinking about it.
It's like starting a new researcher session. That's what, because you got the short and the long.
Yeah.
That might be why it didn't just start executing, because it's got that catch in it, right? Where it's like, hey, clarifying questions.
So we added it into it. It's trying to get it right. It's showing, in this case, it's showing the preview. I want to go into the actual code and view that. And it looks like the code,
it might still be executing, because mine was like, remember it showed a bunch of HTML code and it was like kind of stuck there for a second, and then like 10 seconds later it popped up in the chat reply.
Yeah.
And then it rendered the whole thing.
No, I think it's done. Yeah, because it's asking me short or long. So I did add it, but I did notice that in the code view, it had defaulted HTML and it had not went into the mermaid. So it's actually got the mermaid right here. Now, I went and switched that back from code into preview, and it's giving me an error. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up a new chat real quick. I'm going to toggle to web, and I'm going to say, check this mermaid code, and paste that in. And then we'll go and send that.
And another thing you could do if you're like, oh, it errored out, or oh, it's acting weird, you could start a new chat, ask for the mermaid diagram like in line. And then what Andy showed was you could add to a recent page. So if you like work it out in a fresh chat, you could also always hit recent and then go select that page you were just on and kind of shove it back into the page.
Yeah, there's something really weird going on today. Like it won't let me send. Well, we will turn it off and turn it back on.
This is what happens like right before Microsoft like makes a huge announcement. It's like things are weirdly broken, and then at some point they're like, and now this other thing, like today it's live. And it's like, oh, last weekend, that's why everything was flaky, was because they were like, you know, rolling changes back and forth.
Man, it's not letting me send. Well, you know what? We have multiple Copilot experiences. We will try another one.
Do it in Teams. Yeah.
So we'll let it run.
To make your screen bigger on mine so I can see what the words. Okay, so it tried doing something. It said no diagram was detected. Then it went through and it cleaned it up. And I get another error.
Well, I think this one actually works, so I should be able to view the code. I will copy that. Let's see if we can go back into our previous page.
Okay. I'll like throw it above the conclusion, maybe just like drop a code block in.
There we go. So now we're back here.
Okay.
We'll switch into the code view. It didn't like what was there, so abracadabra.
There you go.
There we go. And now we created a flow chart with just a couple of side steps and added it to the canvas. And no, I would not like to add this to the canvas because I had to do some of it manually. However, that took me significantly less time than if I were trying to figure out how to do this on my own. So little copy and paste back and forth. We can now create flow charts. And in this case, creating a flow chart, we asked Copilot to do it, but there's apparently a glitch in the matrix. So little manual effort, but now we're back to the result. I love the mermaid diagrams, and I just want to bring up a resource. So there's mermaid.js, and we are blocking it once again. We'll put a link in the chat in just a second for this, for everybody who's joining online with us today. But if you check out the site mermaid.js with the link that I just shared with you, there's all kinds of examples of what you can do with Mermaid, creating horizontal flow charts, vertical flow charts, creating sequence diagrams, Gantt charts are supported. pie charts. I mean, it just goes on and on. There's a lot of really cool stuff inside of here that you can use to like add visuals into your Copilot pages. And thing is, Copilot knows how to do all of this. So you can ask Copilot for assistance and say, take this data, convert it to mermaid.js for me, insert it into the page. And within a couple of minutes, you've got a pretty rich page with some visualizations to go along with your content. And some other things that are cool, you can copy it as an image, like John mentioned earlier. You can even export it as an image, and then it's easy to convert to other formats and other content. So we get to take advantage of everything that's great about Loop. We can extend that through our usage of Copilot, and we can draft it here in this page. And I'm going to hand it back to you because you were getting ready to talk about deliverables from here. So you want to take control and go through
let me switch over to my screen real quick, and then let's do, I have to like move you up, there we go. And yeah, so the next kind of logical spot for me, so that my eye gets drawn over here to the create button right here at the top. And this is interesting because we can take this kind of new age, way of like using forward slashes and blocks and rearranging stuff. It's a very kind of scratch papery modern collaboration format. We can move it into like kind of a more traditional like presentation format, right? So we've got this huge amount of research that we've done, all this content. If we hit the create button, we can, export as a PDF, get like a read-only version, send it to somebody to read on their iPad or whatever. A document, so more of a structured Word document with pagination, right? Pages and everything for like prepping it for print. Or I like to do presentation right here. So we can do that. We clicked on presentation. It's going to create our presentation. So now it's going through, it's named it Market Analysis for Jolly Roger Java. And it says, do you want to create a presentation about, and it references the page that we were on. So rather than, it's kind of saving tokens or saving, compute cycles, rather than it just kind of like trying its best in generating graphics, instead, it's going to take me into Narrative Builder. And I like this because I get to control the order of things and the story, right? And we kind of got out of order a little bit, didn't we? Because like we had the conclusion, and then you added some like mermaid stuff at the bottom. Like we added some things at the bottom. So it might have done it in an incorrect order for me, but it looks like it actually did a pretty good job. It was like, here's how we did the evaluation. Here's the locations. Here's the profiles. And then here's our recommendation. It did a good narrative, a good story. Something that is new, though, we've covered this in the past before, but there's 3 things you can do in Narrative Builder in the outline. You can move things around by clicking and reordering on the side little grabber. You can hit the plus button in the middle, and you can add a new topic in between topics, or you can delete an entire topic if you want to. So those are the 3 things that I can do with the story. What's new though, as of the past like couple weeks, it starts to bring in this presentation style and then also image preferences. So if your company has gone through the process of doing an org asset library or a Copilot brand kit, you actually can load in your templates now. And you can see there's Jolly Roger Java. I've got a couple of corporate templates available to me. So I can select that corporate template now. And I don't have to use like, the Microsoft branded ones that, may or may not be what I want. I can go in and I can use the one for my organization. Now, in my day job, we've done this, and we only have one OAL with one template in it. So actually the template shows up as the first recommendation. I think what's happening here is because we have multiple OALs, you can go in and you can select which one you want. So I'm going to select that widescreen one. And then when it creates images, this is another new thing about PowerPoint. It's actually doing full image generation now instead of just finding stock images. So you can get full AI images, or you can go with stock images and you can like switch back to the old way of doing it. I like AI and I want whimsical 3D. That's kind of one of my favorite looks. Now we can generate those slides. So we've gotten a boost in the slide generation thing to where now we can be on brand and we can get like really powerful image generation. Have you noticed that? I noticed it just last week when I had to create a new slide deck. I was like, oh my gosh, I can select a style now.
I did. I noticed that over the last couple of weeks, and I was very happy to see some of the updates that they've made there.
Yeah. And while this is going here, the other thing I've noticed is that if I get a slide that doesn't have a picture on it and I want to create a picture, that image generation has also been brought to the Copilot sidebar chat over here. And that is really, really cool as well, because I don't have to go out to Copilot Create anymore. I can just do it on the fly. So let me, I'm going to customize our layout a little bit, move us in the upper corner. There we go. And then bring that back up. Hopefully these slides will finish here in a little bit quicker time.
This is
but I was kind of going back and forth with that. Somewhat.
This is where we need some music.
Hold music.
We need to like just step up our game a little bit.
We do. We have some
like,
music in here.
Music.
We could do chill hop music. I've got it in Restream.
Go for it.
What's that?
Very chill.
You hear that? There's chill, down tempo, chill hop, hip hop, lo-fi, lounge, R&B, minimal house, future pop, love, classical, epic, cinematic, world music. Okay, I'm gonna stop reading. There's like way too many. There's one that's just rain. Is it literally just rain? Yeah. Or nature sounds. Let's get some like whale sounds going here. That's like an eagle. Okay, so all right, we created this. I think I turned off the music. And I've got my slides now. If I open up one here, see how it's whimsical 3D? It actually generated the image. Like, how crazy awesome is that? And I can I've got all my picture styles in line. I can, choose from like the brand library if I want to replace it, do all of that cool stuff. But like, there's not a thing right here. What I can do is I can hit Copilot now. And one of the first things is create an image for this slide. It's like generate an image of an agenda in whimsical 3D. I don't think it shows up. Yeah, it doesn't show up in here. But yeah, so I'm going to hit that. Now it's going to generate it in line, and I'll just click the plus button and I can add that to the slide. So that's kind of cool. I've just discovered that in the past couple weeks as well. But now we've transitioned this, brainstorming, ad hoc, working on the research. We've transitioned it over to a presentation. Now, this presentation, I want to look at where is it saved. It's called Market Analysis for Jolly Roger Java. That's the name of the page that kind of got brought over. Let me move my window over a little bit. This is what I was talking about, that cloud icon. This is where you can see your path. So let me zoom in on this. It's in my OneDrive in the Documents folder. So I created a presentation from a shared item, a shared page, but it doesn't share this presentation with Andy. So that's kind of a little bit of like a, maybe disjointed experience, but I want to bring it back around full circle. This thing's almost done generating this image. I'm gonna let that finish and then pop it onto the screen so you guys can just see that. Let's see. Nice music. Nice. Thanks, Sasha. All right. It's almost there. It's so close. Okay. So this is like, a top tier image generated image right now. This is brand new, available now inside of the Copilot sidebar. If I hit insert, there it is. I've got that inserted. Now I could move it around, crop it, do all that cool stuff, or I could just select one of the design ideas, and now it's, transformed it a little bit. I think I want to go with this one and put it on the right-hand side. So there we go. That's adding an image to, make it a little bit fancier. So here's what we can do. We can do two things with this PowerPoint. I can either do the traditional thing and I can go hit share up at the top corner. Then I could share it back with Andy. And I could say, here's our, draft slides for the big presentation. I want to give him write access to it so he can edit it. And then I want to send that off. Now he's going to get an Outlook email showing that. The next thing I could do is, say we want to bring everything together. I like to fairly early on, I like to create a Copilot notebook as much as I can. So back over in chat, this is the page that we started with. I'm going to go to the ... It's not under the create button. It's under the more actions. We can add to a notebook now. And we've got this new locations for Jolly Roger Java. That's, the notebook that we've started planning everything in. I want to add this page over to it. So now I've got that in the dumping ground. Open that notebook up. We've got a new interface here for notebooks. So now it's because I'm zoomed in that it kind of had the fly out. There we go. So this is a new interface than what we showed the last time we were in notebooks. We've got over on the right-hand side, there's your chat about this particular notebook. Now in the middle, it will automatically create an overview of the notebook. You can refresh that by clicking on this little refresh button. I have to move myself over again. This little refresh button right here. You can hit that. It'll regenerate that overview. You also can create a new Copilot page. This is what the 5th or 18th place that we've found that you can create a page, Andy. So you can hit a new page. You can also create an audio overview. That's where your podcasts are. So if you want to take this on the go, listen to the overview of the notebook, you can click on that. But right here, these are the references, right? I've got created content at the top. Then I've got references underneath that. These are collapsible, these two areas. So underneath there's that page that I just added. If I make this a little bit wider again, there we go. A little bit wider. Now we're back in that page. We're in that page with the chat. The other thing I want to add, because I've created something from this, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to add a reference. I could do this a couple ways. I could click the plus button. I could go navigate through, find it. There's that PowerPoint. But you see the suggested references? Because I just created this document and it has to do with the topic of the notebook, it intelligently says, hey, you might want to add this to your notebook. I'm going to add that in. And now when Andy goes into this notebook, he'll see the page that we added, plus he'll also see the slide deck and he could open it from there. So I'm kind of, pulling together and kind of stitching together this collaborative area. And now that we have a notebook, we can ask questions of Copilot, and it will not only reason over just the one page we've worked on, but it reasons over everything as a complete corpus of knowledge for that project. Everything is associated, everything is together in a notebook. And that's why I like to kind of move beyond pages and get into a notebook, because I feel like it's a more complete experience with more context. And you can see here at the top, you can invite multiple people to it. So me and Andy, we can just pick up where we left off, and we don't have to go look for these little, what'd you call it, loose leaf? I don't have to go look for loose leaf pages everywhere. I can go into the notebook and know that everything that has to do with this, project is in the notebook. Anything to add to that, Andy?
Yeah, just a couple of short things. One, notebooks can't be shared externally at this time. They are limited to within the current Microsoft tenant that you're in. So if you are doing cross-tenant or external, that's not going to work today. The other thing is the references. It works with the top 100 references or resources that you add into the notebook. It uses that as a primary source of grounding, but it still uses its AI training cutoff, and it can extend into other content, or you can manually add other content
links
if
too.
you want it. We're going to dive, and we've covered a little bit on notebooks previously. We're going to cover more on notebooks in the future, so stay tuned there. But I want to give a real world example of this. I've been doing a lot of Copilot adoption projects, and one of the pillars of that is that we do some discovery workshops where we interact with the pilot participants, and we're gathering use cases of things that are working well, things that are they're experiencing challenges in, and things that they would change if they could as part of the workflow. And we're casting a pretty wide net in this. But as part of these workshops, one, we're leveraging Teams meetings. So there is a transcription that goes along with that and meeting notes. We're leveraging Microsoft Forms and surveys, and the results of those can be exported to Excel files. And we are working with Microsoft Whiteboard, and Whiteboard can be exported as a PNG or as a zip file that includes a JSON file and an HTML file. What I found that is very helpful for me for these discovery workshops is some of that information is based off of loop pages. Some of it is Excel files. Some of it are Word documents. If you export the transcript, I can bring all of those resources, including some of the JSON and HTML, into a notebook, and then I can have a notebook for a specific discovery session or discovery sessions. And so I can build around one of the use cases, one of the cohorts that I'm working with. I can take a number of sessions and I can put that in the same notebook, and then I'm able to use Copilot on top of that to reason against the discovery sessions, to ask questions. When do we talk about this? Are there outstanding questions? What are emerging themes? Where are some of the biggest pain points? And so it makes it easy to really get back into those transcripts, to get back into the output of the discovery sessions. Now, it doesn't support HTML directly, but that's where Copilot Pages comes into play. You have a conversation with Copilot Chat, you give it the HTML and the JSON, and then you say, extract this information out, put it into a nice table format for me, throw it into a Copilot page. You can bring that into the notebook, or you could even export it to Excel, and then you can bring it into the notebook. So Copilot Pages are really valuable for some of that work that I'm doing. Notebooks are allowing me to put it together into a project, and then everything I need is in that one place. And then Copilot democratizes everything that's in there for me so that I can quickly get back to the stuff that I need the next time with very minimal effort. I'm really enjoying that workflow immensely.
Sasha has a question here. He was asking, can we add SharePoint sites or lists into the notebooks? So if you go to add references, you've got files and sites right here. You've also got upload. You can upload local files. You can add a website link to like an external website, or you can browse like your cloud files right there. So if I go into sites, I can add sites and pages. So like if we've got like a SharePoint page of a news post or something, but I cannot add lists yet. I don't know if that's on the roadmap, but you might check roadmap.office.com, see what there is as far as like list support in Copilot. I think there are some things in the works, but I'm not sure with regard to notebooks specifically. Hopefully at some point that would come, because that would be pretty nice. A lot of data is stored in lists these days. It's kind of the database, the lightweight database of M365, but we can add a site if we wanted to bring in like Jolly Roger Java marketing or something. I think, where's the marketing team? Here it is, Jolly Roger Java marketing. So I could bring in like that whole site. It'll do the doc library and the pages though, not the lists.
Another new one that just started showing up, you can add OneNote notebooks in there as well.
Oh, can you? Yeah, I don't think I have any in my list.
Type in the word OneNote.
Wasn't seeing it.
You don't have it.
That's when I use the word OneNote in this file or this file that we had. Okay, well that's good. Yeah. On the bottom it says docs, PPTs, Excel, and PDF. The only other thing I can think of that we've missed about navigation and stuff is in this new view of notebooks at the very top. This is where you do your instructions. So this is where I would say, hey, I want bullet points. I want this. I want that. Your preferences would go into that instructions for the notebook. And you're kind of building like a mini RAG, if you will, within this notebook experience. But that's tripped up some people that I've talked to. They're like, where'd the instructions go? It's under the name. Mm-hmm. There's the instructions. Okay, so do you have a next idea? Or I've got two more things I'd like to kind of explore if we could.
We were going to step through those two more, and then we're going to go back and pick up from the facilitator and the notes that are happening in the background as we start to reach the end. Two
other things, and then I want to build an infographic to kind of show you guys the chain of where we've been. So far, where we have been, we've started in a chat doing a researcher session. We've added that to a brand new page. We iterated and we worked in the page a little bit. We shared it with another person. Then we took that page, we made some artifact out of it. We made a PowerPoint presentation, and we brought everything back in together into a loop, or a Copilot notebook. Sorry, I used the wrong word. Copilot notebook. Now, two other things I want to explore that I could kind of mess around with is I've got this presentation. What's another medium that I could kind of, advertise or explain this presentation right here? One is Copilot Create. We can create videos from presentations now. So starting from a chat, going all the way through to a static presentation, let's make a video out of it. So inside of Create, we go to Copilot, we go down here to the word Create. Then at the top, we can create a video. There's a lot of options here. You could create, like, hey, make a video about why these top 3 items are the best or whatever for our new market in Charlotte. Or we could generate a clip if we wanted to, but I'm going to click start a video from a PowerPoint. Sorry. So I click on that, and lo and behold, the thing I made 9 minutes ago, the market analysis, make that into a video. We're going to hit create, and we're going to make this a little bit more of a portable thing, right? Maybe the leaders that I need to meet with and give my PowerPoint to, maybe I can't get them in a room for 30 minutes together, right? Because they're busy people. It's hard to schedule time. I've already made the slide deck. Okay, well, why don't I just create a video pitch instead? Well, we can do that with Clipchamp and Copilot. So it's bringing all of that together. It's understanding the gist, the content of the PowerPoint presentation. Now it is picking out a style and a tone, and eventually it'll build the narrative out, it'll write the script, and then it will generate the video. Thank you. Did you add some new age music back in?
I did.
Awesome.
Little background ambient music while
this is good. I like it.
My favorite part of this, though, is the way that the progress bar goes around the outside of the video. I don't know why I'm so enamored with that, but I just love it.
Yeah, it starts in the bottom center and works its way around to the top center, and then it's done. Okay, so it's collecting media. It's finding things that match, the narrative and the theme of the video. It's very good, new age stuff. It's like we're conjuring up a video here. We're charming the Gen AI into making a video.
We're having so much fun.
There we go. So now we've got a video, and it is 5 minutes and 23 seconds about, what we're going to do with Jolly Roger Java. What's cool is it gives me some edits that I can do without having to go into a full-blown video project. So I can watch this back, and it's like, welcome to our presentation. Here's what we're going to talk about today. And it's, it's basically just doing a talk track over the slides, which is good, right? Let me pause that so it's not talking in my ear. Now, what I can do is I can adjust this without having to go into a full project. I've got the transcript right here, and it chunked the transcript into the slides for me. So if I look at let's scroll down here, top ranked locations, summer. Next, we summarize and compare the top ranked locations based on our evaluation metrics and deep research, right? Maybe I want to add a little bit into it. I can click that and hit update. And now it's going to add that to the talk track. Now it's 1 second longer, right? Because it added those words. So if you don't like what it says, you can edit that. If you don't like the vibe of it, you can select some background music. So I can make it inspirational. I can change the voice. If I don't want Ava, I can do Andrew or Fable or whatever. And then I can also select a brand kit from here. So we have Jolly Roger Java. Click on that. It's going to update the entire thing. It's probably not going to change hardly anything here because my PowerPoint was already in the Jolly Roger Java brand kit. So I'm imagining it's not going to do anything. But this is where you can like kind of adjust some stuff. If you want to freeform make adjustments, you can do that up here in the transform and say, add this thing, add that thing. Make it, confident, make it casual or playful. I don't know why you'd make it playful for like a marketing research thing, but you can mess with that. If you want to get it where you're in a good place, you can export that directly. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to also open it in Clipchamp. Now, if I open that up, I get the full editing suite, right?
Yes.
So I can do all of the timeline stuff. You're going to see it pops in as clips along the bottom. So I've got my stuff. It's slicing it together. There we go. So there's all of my slides. I've got the talk track over the top. Let me zoom out here. There we go. So see how they're actual clips. So these are individual little snippets. I can rearrange them if I want to. Again, if I want to change the text, I can click the talk track, the middle lane right there, and I can go to text to speech, and I can change it if I want to. I could also change it to a different language if I wanted. So I've got all of this, information, all this things at my fingertips. I can change out the music by going to a different music library. Now I have a lot more things I can choose from, and I could swap out the music if I want, shorten things, add things. Maybe instead of this, maybe I want to go into stock footage. Where's that at? Stock video. And maybe I want to drop in a coffee shop. Okay, grab that, add that to the timeline. And maybe instead of that slide, maybe I want to break up the monotony of PowerPoint with this picture right here, or this stock footage. And now it's talking over some, bland, I guess he's scanning a QR code or something. But yeah, so it goes there and then it goes back to the slides again. So you can really enhance and spice up your video once you get it into a project. When you like it, you can always export it, save it out at 1080p because I don't have any 4K content in here. 1080p, drop it in my OneDrive, send it off to those executives, and not even have the meeting if I don't want. Anything to add to this video creation aspect, Andy?
Other than, I think this is the third time we've demoed it. And we're doing this on purpose because of how powerful this workflow is. Copilot chat to Copilot page to PowerPoint to video in less than 30 minutes versus a process that may have taken you hours or days before. Mm-hmm. The ability to create video content and then have assets behind it is the workflow is completely changed, and I can't emphasize how powerful this is. And I guarantee you, this is not the last time that we're going to do a demo around this process.
Every time we do it like once a quarter, but every time we do it, there's new stuff sprinkled throughout, right? Like this last time is like, oh, did you know PowerPoint can make images now? Oh, and it inherits your template from the OAL in the narrative builder. And then inside of making your video, now you can actually adjust stuff. This stuff didn't exist a few months ago. All these adjustments and stuff are pretty new.
Yes, absolutely. So, one last point to make about this.
Mm-hmm.
We've done some testing on this. And for those that are seeing this for the first time, when you create your PowerPoint, it pulls from the content of the slide as well as the speaker notes. And so you can use that to your advantage and build it the presentation so that it helps with the AI building the transcript. But now, as John just pointed out, you can append the transcript here, so you can kind of pick and choose which version that you want to use or how much work that you want to use. But the workflow here is incredibly powerful, but also you have many options now to get you to the point you need.
Yeah. Okay, so can I show two other things? I think we have time for two other. So one other way that we can kind of do this process, you saw how I went from chat to page, from page to creating a PowerPoint presentation. And then I did it like within the narrative builder. Rolling out right now is the agent mode within PowerPoint or the PowerPoint agent. There's two different things. PowerPoint agent, you're going to see it in your sidebar if you have enabled Claude in your tenant. If you've enabled Claude, you can go in here to PowerPoint agent and you can get a much more robust PowerPoint created for you. And this is really interesting. I could then click and say, create a slide deck based on, then I could do the / or I could add work content. I could go over to those files. There's the marketing research, right? And then I could click this. It's going to go through and I'm not going to show you the entire thing because it'll take like probably 10, 15 minutes to complete. But kind of like Researcher, the agent powered by Claude, this is a chat-based experience going into PowerPoint. It starts with some options here. So I'm going to do this pitch to executive leadership. I do want to make a recommendation. And I want it to be short because it's for leaders. I want it to be very visual and look really cool and nice. And notice that I don't yet, so this is a limitation. Right now, I don't have that Jolly Roger Java theme. So that's kind of a gap right there. But I like this twilight glow. Then I can hit let's go. And I can just let this go for like, it'll say grab a coffee because it takes like 10 to 15 minutes. But what you're going to see is they're calling it vibe working, but it's like you're vibe coding up a PowerPoint. So it's going to open up a new pane over to the right side. And then it's going to show me, if you've ever used like Claude Cowork or Code, things like that, you get this task list that it's going to work its way through. And you can kind of watch it go step by step through the process. So once it opens up here, then I'll show you the other direction, which is agent mode in a PowerPoint. Let's turn that music back on. Wait for this thing to start building.
Oh, I got your music right here.
Okay, thank you. Did you find some Stream Deck music? Okay. Thank you. This really energizes the watching paint dry experience. Almost there. Reading bot speak. You see that? What the heck is bot speak?
Should ask Copilot.
Yeah. It's gonna be like, I can't talk about that. It's gonna go into full Sydney mode here in a second. Okay, while this is doing it, why don't I just jump over to a new tab real quick? I'm gonna do PowerPoint.new. So the other direction that we can go is called agent mode in PowerPoint. And the reason why I wanted to show both is because one is powered by Claude, one is powered by OpenAI at this current time, as of the end of February 2026. If you start in chat, you click the PowerPoint agent. So if the app comes first, then the word agent, you're in Claude, you're pushing that in from a chat. If you go into agent mode in Excel, so the word agent comes first, the word PowerPoint comes second. The naming is very difficult. You go into PowerPoint, a blank PowerPoint, you start from Copilot sidebar. This is where agent mode is. This is currently powered by OpenAI's large language models. I'm in this, and now I can say, create a deck about our marketing opportunities in Charlotte. And I saw this the other day, but it looks like it went away. There was a plus sign in here. So currently right now, it's like it reverted back to the old version, but soon there will be an option to drop in that page, drop in a file, and then go that way. And it's agent mode. So it will do all the clicking around. It will do all the advanced design work, more so than what you would do with Narrative Builder. So that is another option, is you could start in PowerPoint and go into your slide deck and use the agent mode powered by a different large language model. Here we go. So this is what it typically looks like when you're using PowerPoint agent, app, then agent name, powered by Claude. It's creating the scratch space of 8 different slides right here. And then now I've got this task list available to me. So I'm vibing up these slides, and it's creating these in parallel. So like there's multiple steps. It's got 11 steps for this slide. It's got 10 steps for that slide. And it's creating them in parallel so that they'll all kind of like, progress at the same time. And you'll see like different ones pop up at different times, and then they'll kind of get a little bit better and a little bit better over the course of, like I said, like 10, 15 minutes. So like, see this one finished up, and it's going to kind of work and tweak on that one. That is slide number 2. So it's gone through, it's generated its preview. Now it's running some Python against that. This one, it's reading some charts. It's doing some searches on slide number 3. So it's not really ready yet. It needs to do a little bit more work. But on slide number 4, it didn't need to do as much research, right? So now it's doing some validation on this to make sure that it's all good. So it's kind of doing like the little bots are going around and doing things on all the different slides at the same time. So I am like so blown away by the agent mode that I wanted to definitely show that off. Go ahead, Andy. I think you grabbed the screen. Are you there, Andy? Oh, you're like off screen, but your screen showed up. Are you there? Can you hear me?
There we go. Are you
there? We go. Yeah. Do you want me to go to your screen?
The connection blipped, and I
do
didn't do anything.
Shared everything in? Okay.
Yeah, it just shared my screen, and it's like, oh, you're backstage now, and I'm like, no, I'm.
Yeah, you were like grayed out on my side. Okay, so this is that different layout. Like you can see it coming together. This is like a really good looking PowerPoint, dude. Although this is kind of wonky. Oh, okay. Well, look at that. I was like, this is weird. It doesn't look quite right. And then it just flashed, and it looks good now. And you can see slide number 2 is done. So as I was looking at like, oh, what's going on here? This is yucky. It fixed it. Like, holy cow. Yeah. Like, dude, it's such a robust slide deck, in my opinion. We're working on slide number 6 is the last one. But once this is done, then I'll get a button at the top to just open in PowerPoint, and it'll just pop open in the full PowerPoint on the web. Then I can open up in my desktop and pick up where I left off and have the full power of PowerPoint at that point. So that's another option for making a presentation from your Copilot page that you started with. The last one I wanted to look at is some other vibe codey stuff. If I go back over here to a new chat, I've been playing the past like week or two with a new agent that is available called App Builder. And I wanted to see, what if we took this market research and made an app out of it? I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm like, I'm wanting to throw almost every work that I'm doing into the App Builder to see like, what if I didn't do the PowerPoint path I always pick? What if I did an app instead? So I'm going to add this App Builder. I'm going to say create an app. It wasn't added. Oh, did it do it? There it did. Okay, it's installing now. So App Builder. So now I can say like create an app from, and then I'm going to give it our research page that we were working on. So files, there's that research analysis. I just want to like leave it open-ended and see what it does. So again, we're kind of vibe coding here where it's going to, I left it as wide open as possible. Ideally, you'd give it more of a prompt for like what you're actually looking for. But you can see it's going to think about like, how should I present this information? This is like super crazy dense, right? it's going to go through and it's going to build me an app that then I could share as just another medium that we can choose. Is my slide deck done? Okay, my slide deck is done over here. So there's that big button I told you about, open in PowerPoint. And then from here, I could edit it just like any other PowerPoint presentation. And what's nice is it gives you the source. It did a graphic here, but it gave you a source. This is like real data that filled out this bar chart. So pretty cool stuff right there. I can also hit edit. I can open it in the desktop if I wanted to. Use the actual full power of the desktop app as well. There we go. So we're getting some tasks over here on the side where it's going to decide some stuff. Again, this is another like 5 to 10 minute process. Have you used this at all, Andy, yet?
I have not. No, I have not.
I haven't failed a pretty high percentage of the time. I'll be honest. So it might, at the end be like, sorry, I can't do that. And you can hit retry. Sometimes I got to try 2 or 3 times, but I've had some fun experiences with it in the past week where I've been building out, like I made a slide deck. There's one thing I was doing. I'm trying to build like this agentic platforms universe, right? And there's a lot of platforms, and I've come to realize I called it platform spaghetti. It's like a typical architecture diagram with a bunch of wires going everywhere. So I thought, what about throw it into app builder? Like, what if I vibe coded something instead of a PowerPoint? And it created like this graphic in HTML of the galaxies all around. And it thought of the idea of making it simple with just the galaxy. Then you click into the galaxy, it slides over from the side and shows all the capabilities of that platform vendor, and it's like, rather than having a PowerPoint with all these different slides, it's like a single pane app that I can click to open up the details and slide them out and open up this one. And it was kind of cool because it did it as like just this flat application that then I could share and say, hey, what do you guys think about this? I haven't gotten a reply back from those guys yet of what they think yet. So, they might destroy it, but we'll see what happens.
So while this finishes up, I want to put a kind of a bookend on the conversation that we've been talking about today, because we're getting pretty close to the top of the hour, and I just want to make sure that we bring everything back into perspective. Mm-hmm. I know you wanted to touch base on the infographics, but let's hold on to that one, put that in our back pocket for just a bit. So do you want to bring me back up on?
I'll bring you up on screen, and I'm going to kind of I'm going to make boxes to show kind of like what we've talked about, leading one into the next. And I'll show that when we get to that point. You'll have to let me bring your screen back up.
Oh, is it going to make me reshare?
No, you're good.
All right, there we go.
Yeah, you're good.
All right. So here's a workflow that we find to be very helpful. This entire presentation, not only have we been streaming and recording to LinkedIn and YouTube, but we've had a Teams meeting going on, and Facilitator has been there every step of the way. So we have a set of notes related to this meeting that I can point Copilot at, and I can do something cool with that. So I'm going to head into Copilot chat. And from here, I'm on the work toggle. I'm going to go and add work content. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for that document. So you can see it's right here at the top. I don't have to search for it. And then I can tell Copilot what I want it to do. Create a detailed how-to guide for all of the demos and topics that John and I have talked about today. Minimize the duplicates inside of the guide and try to keep it to the same chronological order as discussed in this meeting. Period. All right, so we get 80% out of our head, we get it onto the canvas, and then we let Copilot go to work. I do want to point out, I do have web search enabled here, so it should look for Microsoft resources, but I can also prompt that in, use official Microsoft resources if necessary. And I will eventually get that typed out. I should have just spoke it out loud. It would have been a lot faster. So I'm going to let this go to work. Now, I'm not using researcher, but I am using the auto option. So it's going to choose whether it needs to think deeply or not. And I'm going to let it run. Now, I didn't tell it to do this, but notice it just started creating a Copilot page for me auto-magically. It opened that up and it's creating a Copilot page for me. And it's actually should be building this in real time. And I can see that it's actually doing that. It's building the whole thing in real time, which is pretty cool. Now it's going to go and finish up. Tells me that it's created that detailed how-to guide. And within minutes of our meeting wrapping up, I've got the first draft of things that we've talked about, the instructions for each of the demos along the way, some of the tips and tricks and key takeaways. It even in some cases has inserted content from Microsoft. So I would actually go back and validate that. But the turnaround time on this is super fast. So for any of you doing user adoption, education, training, technical training, this is a way to take delivery and turn it into a how-to guide. And within a half hour of that presentation, you can have this in the hands of the people that were actually there, answer some of the questions that were outstanding, create an FAQ based off of what actually happened, append your instructions on maybe your website based off of changes that you discovered live in real time while demoing live without a safety net. It's a really powerful workflow. Now, I want to do one more thing with this. I want to have a little bit of fun. And so I'm going to see how much fun Copilot is actually going to let me have today. So John was demoing a little while ago something pretty cool. He was showing you some of the image creation tools. Well, I was having some fun with the image creation tools as well. And well, I created some whimsical 3D avatars of John and I as we're delivering a podcast live. I told it that the studio we were in had like a 90s arcade chill vibe. I think it got it right. But I also told it, hey, create it from a couple of different perspectives. And man, it did such an amazing job. It just, our facial expression never changes. So I thought that was kind of fun. It's like we're frozen in time and it's circling around. But what I'm going to do is I want to have a little bit of fun here at the end with the page. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to head in and I'm going to tell it to insert these images into the guide where you think they best fit for each image. And I just want to take it for a test drive. And I just want to see what it's going to do, if it's going to be able to pull those images and bring them over. Because we've seen it can work with images, but can I take it directly from the conversation and let it do its thing? So it's going through, making some updates. We're going to see what happens. I'm going to let it finish and we can see it's actually moving right along in the lower corner there. So hopefully it'll finish and then we'll see if it's going to actually load those images or not. But it's looking promising.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to do it. My app is done. I'll show you that after this. We need this music on like a Stream Deck button so we can toggle it on and off without having to like go through the web page.
All right, so it thinks that it's done. Let's head back. And
it had the placeholder for it. What if you refresh the page?
Nope. And it created a few different placeholders, but it didn't do it. It didn't
show them in.
Hey, but you know what? We learned something new, but it's pretty cool. All right, so that kind of bookends it. Just want to do that last little bit, but I used Facilitator, Teams meeting notes powered by Loop, Copilot chat, Copilot pages. We've created a lot of really cool stuff today. We've got an awesome how-to guide. I was looking through that as it was building. Ron showed you some workflow around exporting to the different Office file types. We did a couple of deep dives into the PowerPoint usage, creating some videos from that content, even showing you some of the Claude usage. And hey, hold on. Are we going to talk more about Claude in the future? Yeah, we got another show planned for you. We were in a deep dive into Claude. So this is
more stuff needs to finish rolling out.
Yeah.
This is the app that I made. So this is that different thing of like, hey, instead of a slide deck, maybe make it an app. It's like your top ranked place is this one. There's the average household income, some facts. There's the items ranked, or the places ranked 1 through 8. I can scroll through, I can click on those, and it kind of shows highlighted where they are. If I go do location visits, I can go to like location 5 and I can, add some notes, add some actions, and hit update. So it made a little app for me.
Oh.
And then here I made that picture for you. So here's where we went today. Is this kind of hopefully bookended enough that from chat, you can invoke researcher, get it into a page. From a meeting, you can get your meeting notes out that are already a loop page. You can take all these elements, you can add them into a notebook. From a page, you can make a slide deck, add it into the notebook, right? You can go from that page, you can also make an app from it. From that slide deck, you can make a video out of it. So, from one chat and one researcher session, maybe a meeting to kind of brainstorm and talk about stuff, you can have a notebook that is full of all of these different artifacts, and you can create modern artifacts like videos and even applications from what you started at back here, all within that Copilot ecosystem. So there's my really rough picture workflow.
Next time we'll have Copilot vibe code it for us and see.
I was thinking, I was like, let's do that, but I didn't want it to mess up, but that's my quick and dirty. Dude, we made a lot of stuff today. Look at all that crap.
Yes, we did. We did.
So I hope that inspires you guys.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think it's this is a good one to land on. We created some cool stuff. We left a couple of segues to kind of come back on in a future episode. We're not done. I think we've got a lot more that we want to cover. As we mentioned, we're waiting on a few things from Claude to land, and when that happens, we're going to circle back on that. It seems like there's a little bit of deja vu happening in the Matrix. So typically when they do that, that means there might be some new stuff coming in the not too distant future. So we will circle back whenever we know more. But I know we got to do a shameless plug, because you and I are going to be in Orlando for the Microsoft 365 Community Conference coming up in a couple of short months, April 21st through the 23rd. I don't know if you heard, but John and I are doing a workshop there, full day, 7 hours, deep dive into Microsoft 365 Copilot. We've also got a breakout session talking about ideation in Whiteboard, putting it through its paces with Copilot, as well as Loop and Copilot pages. So we're going to be there, I think, all week for the Microsoft 365 Community Conference. Hopefully you're going to be there. We got a couple of promo codes in our profiles if you're interested in saving a few bucks. But otherwise, you can come hang out with us, because I know we're going to be on the expo for quite a bit while we're there. Lots going on that week, but hope to see you at the Microsoft 365 Community Conference in April.
Yeah. And I'll see you in like less than a month in Redmond for MVP Summit. So that'll be exciting. That's my first time getting to come in person. So I'm stoked to see a ton of people.
The Microsoft campus?
To the Microsoft campus and to Summit. I've been doing it virtually the whole time, because I started my journey as an MVP during COVID. So yeah,
we'll make sure that
it'll be fun.
You have a good time while you're out there. I'm looking forward to it.
Man.
a lot of fun for the MVPs that they get to go.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, on that note, folks, this one's been a lot of fun. We covered a ton. Make sure you like and follow us on the social medias. Let us know in the comments what you thought of some of the things that we covered today, what your processes are, the things that you're discovering. And shameless plug for me, check out the daily tips and tricks. I think I'm up to like 57 now. And this week covered some of what we covered in this show. So be sure to check those out.
Yeah. Awesome, guys. Well, we'll see you next time. I think right before MVP Summit, actually. We'll try to squeeze this in right before we leave. So we'll see you next time. If you got ideas, let us know, on our LinkedIn or YouTube channel, and we'll talk to you in March. Bye, everybody.
See you in the next one.